This is Robbie Coblentz with the Starkville Now podcast, the video edition. And joining me is Steve Rogers from WCBI, Sumner Davis, in his role with the Center of Governmental Technology, political pundit, and Matt Cox, Democratic mayoral candidate. And just as a note of disclaimer here, Parker Wiseman was invited but was not able to make it due to a scheduling conflict. The idea here is to ask Matt a few specific questions. I'll start first, then we'll go to Steve, and then Sumner. Matt, my first question for you. If elected mayor, what is your plan for your municipal complex? Where will it be located? How much do you think it will cost? And how will you pay for that? It's the age-old debate we've kicked around for 12, 14, 18, 20 years now. Specifics of the plan.
All right. Well, first, thank you for hosting this discussion today. And, I think it's appropriate that we get asked tough questions as candidates. I get asked them when I'm at someone's door, but the forums thus far haven't been so tough. And so I'm glad to be here. Justice Complex is something that's been beat around for years, and it's time to move on. And the plan that I'm proposing is to build a new city hall. That city hall would be located down in the old 82 area, where we're currently constructing a new Starkville Electric Service Center. We're looking at roughly $200 a square foot in construction, and that's why you see our electric department building come in a little over $2 million. And so we're going to need something in the range of $3 to $3.5 million to house our municipal governmental functions. This is our opportunity to have a signature building for Starkville, and as you bring in industrial recruits, if you bring in people to come to our city, I think we want to have our signature building be a city hall. Balance of a $5 million program and renovating the existing city hall. And that would be for our police needs. The program said we needed well over 20,000 square feet to accommodate a growing police force. Our existing city hall does that. It's not perfect, but no plan has been perfect to date.
Sure.
And I think as a community, I think any plan that's put forward at this point, we're going to have people for it and against it. As some people say, they're always going to be against something that we propose. This is a way to unify our community for something that we do need, as well as to take care of our needs and our urgent needs. Now, I will say that the mayor proposed something here recently called a lease purchase program, and I'm looking forward to hearing more details about that, because one of the things that would allow us to do is to not increase our bond debt, but go ahead and start with construction. We have talked about that very preliminarily, but it's something that needs to be fleshed out. I've talked with each of the candidates. I've talked with the people who are already now elected to this next board, and this is a priority. This is a priority for day one for us to move forward with this. The need's clear. The time is now.
So you're looking at a $5 million total bill. You would move City Hall to the new location, refurbish the existing facility for the police. What would go where? I mean, what would you keep in the existing facility? What would go down to the new campus?
I think what you keep is the police station and the existing city hall. There's obviously going to be some moving back and forth in the interim, but in essence, what we think of as city hall, the functions of city hall go down to this old 82 corridor. So many people understand that that is a section that needs renovation, and right now private investment is not going to get us to what we need to have for a prime entrance for our community. So we need to put our public dollars there, private historically, and looking at other communities follow.
How would you pay for this? We've got a school bond issue that's gone through. Ottawa County's got a bond issue. We've got the road bond issue with the tax increase this last fall. How are you going to raise that $5 million?
It's no question it's a bond issue under the plan that I'm talking about. It would need to go to referendum. I think we can sell a program when you see the success we've had with the schools, you see the success we've had with our hospital. This community can pass a bond issue, but they have to be included in the process, and they have to be excited about the project itself. Now, I did mention this lease purchase, and I only say that there are potentially other good ideas. I've never been the type of person who says it's my way or the highway. In fact, I think that's been a problem with our community. We frequently say, I'm going to get 100% of what I want, period. And the problem has been on this project in particular, we currently have 100% of nothing. This is the time to compromise and have us move forward. And if there is a better way on how you fund this by using a public-private partnership, I'm open to that. I don't know enough about that today, so I'm upfront and honest. This is a bond issue. It would increase your taxes. This is a need that we clearly have. It's time to move forward.
Would the $5 million also include land acquisition? I know the current board has acquired a few pieces of land there. How much more land needs to be acquired to make that campus block complete?
Well, there's both a short-term and a long-term. Clearly, long-term, the board has set as a priority that we're going to acquire that block. We've only, as part of this process, though, entered into one agreement that I think we're close to finalizing. It's within some, basically signing contracts at this point. I think you can get started with where we are with an additional parcel. You don't have to have the entire block to get started, but you clearly have to have a master plan that says we're going to acquire those properties as they become available. We get options. We become the first person in line when those properties do become available. But we have to control our growth. We have to manage our future. The only way to do that is to get started right there.
Steve, your question.
As a continue along that same lines, what kind of timetable? The winter takes office in July. Again, this has been talked about for a very long time. Is it not time for someone to stand up and say, yes, we are going to do it and do it now? I mean, what kind of timetable are we talking about? We could have all of these none of these ideas are new. Not a single one of these is new. I mean, what's taking so long, and why are you going to be any different?
Sure. What has happened and what we have to understand about our form of government, there's a certain thing that you would like to do, and of course we'd love to stand on the mountaintop and say this is what we're going to do. The biggest constraint is the ability to petition. 5-6 years ago, Mayor Camp led one, and I also participated in that because I felt like the public was not part of that process. We've since seen in this administration when after our plan, and it was I think a unanimous plan from the board and the mayor. We had a plan. We went to the ballot box. We thought we did everything right, but we came up a little bit short. And unfortunately, what poisoned the well for our term was that soon after that, there was exactly what you just described. This is too important to let a referendum decide this. We're going to push this forward. Now, Alderman Davis wasn't there at that meeting. It was a 3-3 vote. The mayor broke the tie, and we said we're going to issue these bonds regardless. And what happened? We had a petition, and that is the right of our community. If you don't bring the community along, it's the classic tale of, are you a leader if you have no followers, or are you just out for a walk? And that's been the problem in our community. So we're going to have petitions unless you include the community in the process. I'm wanting to do that, and what I'm hearing from people is it's time to move forward. Even on a plan that went up to $9 million, it failed by 22 votes, I think. The community is ready to move forward with this, but you start out with a process. We're going to have good faith as a result of this election. You have new aldermen. You're guaranteed to have a new mayor. We're going to be able to move this forward.
Again, a timetable, and how do you sell it to the public? You hadn't told me yet what's going to be different about you or anybody else. Again, we've heard all this before. How are you going to be different, and what's the timetable going to be? I mean, we can continue to have public involvement forever, and we end up with government by bitch session, I think, as I've described it. But tell us what and how is your approach going to be different?
Well, we did set up after this recent issue, we set up a community team to evaluate where the facility should be located, what it should look like, what our overall municipal building needs. We've done a lot of that hard work. What we've needed is the credibility to come in and to say, this is our project. We want to hear your feedback, and you don't have to worry about it. We're going to put it on a referendum. You start to build good faith. It's the exact same process they went through on the school bond and the hospital bond. And if you go into saying, this isn't going to work, sure, it won't work. If we go into it and say we're not going to include the public in this, it's not going to work. It can, though, if you have credibility, if you have the momentum that we're going to have from this election. And again, people are ready to move forward on this issue. It's been 12 years. our program from this new board and this new administration is gonna move forward. If not, we need to quit talking about it. But the needs are too clear for our police department, for our city, to let this continue any longer. I think we have the momentum ready.